Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and a great big thank you to any of you who have tuned in now on Christmas Eve to see this houseplant update. And sure, if you've tuned in after your Christmas dinner, then I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and that you'll enjoy having a look at the few plants I have here in my sitting room. So I guess it's mostly begonias today. It's a few orchids and a few other unusual things which I hope you'll enjoy me talking through with you. So let's get on with the video. I'm making this houseplant tour video because several people have asked me over a period of time about my houseplants and what was going on with them. And you know, it is actually quite difficult to record plants indoors in a house because there's so much other stuff around, and you can imagine yourself, we've got 8 in the house over Christmas this year, so it has been quite difficult to put aside the time to do this and just clear everybody out of the sitting room and like just get on with it. So yeah, it's also quite difficult to stand back far enough to show things, and okay, so I guess a whole lot of my problem and not yours. But to let you know, if houseplants is your thing and what you watch my channel for, then just recently I did make a first houseplant tour in a long time, and this video was headlined Begonia luxurians, or palm leaf begonia, because the first half of the video is a repotting of my glorious palm leaf begonia which resides in the kitchen, and after doing that then the second half of the video is given over to a plant tour of the plants that are in the kitchen. So do check that out. I will link to it at the end of this. So if this is your thing, then you know you've got two to look forward to. So before we get going with the plant tour, you should know that this is my cool room, and by that I mean that temperatures are they're really cooling near 10 degrees centigrade. We have a real problem heating this room, which is great for the plants that I put in it, but not so great for the humans that have to inhabit it. And we did have an open fire just over there, just out of view, which we don't use anymore because obviously we're not burning peat, and this is kind of, well, anyway, it's a cool room. And in terms of light, we have north facing, which is that way, and we have some east facing patio doors on that side. So that's all of the light that the plants get here. So I guess, as with the house plant video I made in the kitchen, I'm going to start with one of my monsters. And how can I continue very much further without talking about this guy over here? Now, I just want to say, wow, look at the size of this stromanthe, and it has just gotten absolutely enormous. So I repotted this a little while ago and kind of tucked it out of the way. It was on this table here beside me, and it was kind of at the back. I didn't really notice what it was doing until suddenly I realized, wow, the thing is absolutely enormous and in really good health, which is a wonderful result. But I guess before very long I'm going to have to divide it and kind of just reduce it in size because it does want to take over the world. Now, as you can see, it's sitting on a bed of pebbles. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, take my word for it. We do have pebbles in there, and so that it's kind of like on a humidity bed, so it does get extra humidity. And in terms of this room, this is a cool room. So this is the room that all of those things that really need cool temperatures go to live. There we go, Stromanthe Triastar, and I have made a care video about how to look after this. I also made a repotting video about how to repot this, and that's just done fantastically. So I guess now let's have a look at some of the plants just over here. Down at the very bottom we have Coleogyne flaccida, which is a very stinky orchid when it comes into flower. And then just moving up a little bit, we have what remains of my Oncidium sotuanum, which is those two small plants there. Sad, sad. And now we have a begonia. So this one came back with me from Madeira Island last year. This time last year I was in Madeira Island, and it's one that was seen absolutely everywhere. So I saw this at the Botanic Gardens, and I saw it in the President's Garden, President of Madeira's garden, all planted outdoors in a variety of places, and always looking absolutely fabulous, and always without a label. So I really can't tell you which begonia it is, except that I really loved it and was determined to do well with it, and it has grown well in the course of a year. So I hope it'll go on to do great things, although of course here in Ireland this guy is going to have to live in the house rather than outdoors in the President's garden. Just a little bit further up on the shelf we have Begonia Seismorii, which is one with the hairy leaves. This is a cutting from my original parent plant, which I gave away to somebody else because it just got too big, and I'm happy with this cutting, which is doing quite well and is big enough for my needs, let's just say. And right here at the very top we have a Lycaste orchid, which is coming into flower for the very first time. I'm really happy about that. I am just going to put the flower in close to you so that you can see it. And this is Lacioglossom, as I recall, which I thought was going to be yellow, but it's actually a kind of brown. And we have some more flower spikes coming, so I should get decent enough flowering from this guy in the end. And it's always really happy days when something that hasn't flowered before comes into flower, and very happy about that. And moving over to the other side here, we have indeed a lot more begonias. And the first I want to show you today on this side is this guy here, which again I don't have a name for, but this was given to me as a cutting from Jimmy Blake, who's a gardener here in Ireland a few years ago, and he got a lot of very interesting begonias. So when I came to visit him, he said, "Oh, Rachel, you love begonias, here, take a cutting of that." So I actually don't know which one it is, but it has a strange habit, like it's come up in one stem here and a lot of top growth, although it does seem to be branching now a bit. So I'm not quite sure if I should, well, I guess I should take a cutting and just try to rectify either the original or the new cutting by just kind of making sure that it grows and bushes out a bit better. But it's a nice one, and it has lovely red at the back of the leaves there. Which is a great feature, kind of soft texture to it. So that's that begonia, which is at the very top. And then we have two little succulents that I bought very recently. And the first one is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just look at these gorgeous kind of red structures, leaves. They're modified leaves, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful thing. Sulcorabutia, I believe is the name. And when I saw this in a garden centre recently, I just had to snap it up because it is so beautiful and desirable. And if we pull in close, can you see how seasonal this tiny little Sulcorabutia is being? On each of its segments, there's a tiny Christmas tree. And whenever I get a succulent or a cactus at this end of the year, I usually just bring it into the house rather than putting it into the greenhouse where I can't keep an eye on it. Although longer term this will move to the greenhouse, and we will kind of monitor it there. And then I also got this giant lithop, which obviously is shriveling a bit as they're supposed to do in winter. And look how gorgeous it is. The markings on it are fantastic. And 3 of them, there they are. I guess that biggest one is about to split, in which case the new baby plant will come up from the inside and the outer leaves of the parent plant will wither and die away, as is supposed to be the case. And well, I hope the same thing is going on over here. So absolutely delighted with these 2 guys, and as I say, living indoors here for the rest of this year. And just a little bit further down we have yet another begonia, and this is one I do have a name for, surprise surprise, but I really like how this one has filled out its pot and it's just kind of like oozing out over the edge and making a full round kind of globe of foliage. Really like it. Moving down a little bit further we have curly fire flush, yet another begonia, and this is one I picked up from the Dibley's nursery in Wales when I visited there in person a few years back. So this one was originally bought as a seedling. It grew big, and then I'm sure I took plenty of cuttings, but I also divided it, and this is 1/2 of the plant now, because the begonias do get quite big in the end and they kind of die off a little bit in the middle, so the active growth is around the edges, so it is an idea to divide them every now and again. A lovely little swirl in the centre of the leaf, in the same way that escargot has, which you saw of course in my kitchen a week ago. And down at the very bottom we have an orchid, Trichophilia, which has flowered last year. I don't see any signs of flowers yet so far this year, but I will be hopeful. And then moving over to the right from that shelving, we have a couple of plants, and I suppose the big one, I should start with the big one, and this is a tree crinum. So this is a very tropical plant that I was afraid to leave in my greenhouse because I think it requires like a 10-degree minimum in winter. And I have been surprised by the fact that it has kept on growing through the winter so far. I thought it might go dormant in my climate, but no, it doesn't. And it's doing really well. We have 2 little pups there at the side, and we have roots coming out the base of the plant. So it makes quite a handsome specimen. Obviously it has never flowered, but yeah. And I think several people have recently purchased this plant because it has become available in some of the large bulb distributors. And so I'd be interested to hear what your experience is of growing this in my climate. And if you want to see how this arrived, because it arrived just as a trunk in the same way as you might buy a banana tree, and I had to pot it up and get it going, so I will link to that video at the very end. But I'm very pleased with how well it's doing. It seems to be very happy with everything it's had so far. Lovely purple foliage there, plenty of new growths right at the centre, and yeah. Well, I hope I can eventually maybe move it to the greenhouse, because it is going to get big, and the word tree is the hint there. So if I have to have a tree indoors during the winter, it's not really a great thing. Right, so here we have a philodendron, and this one I am not sure what the ID is. So boogie jungle, somebody said. I don't know if that's the case, but it could be. And it's very stereotypical philodendron, which has been repotted. It's in quite a large pot. Some bits of brown on the leaves indicating it's insufficient humidity, I guess. It has flowered twice. There are mixed opinions as to whether you should let your philodendrons flower, but I let mine flower. And I am going to, because I think this is actually in theory a climbing plant. It wants to climb a little bit. So I am going to put a moss pole behind this one very soon. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, who would not notice my Ibervillea, which is Jessie here. This plant is an Ibervillea, so it's a very heavy Caudex plant, desert plant, succulent plant that has gone dormant at the moment. So it produces lots of, it's too heavy, I'm going to put it down, lots of green shoots that come out at the top and climb, and you need to kind of support them as they climb up. And it does that in the summer, and then in winter it goes dormant, and mine is dormant, and that's fine. It's what it's supposed to do. The only thing you need to be aware of is any signs of rotting, and I don't have any signs of rotting, so that's really, really great. And I know it could take a bit more light. So behind us we have, so east facing, and these windows are north facing. So it's not the best position for light, but when it wakes up, I will move it to a position of better light. And there we go. That brings me to the end of this houseplant tour, which I hope you enjoyed, even though it was only a brief video. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And if you're looking at this afterwards, I hope you have had a wonderful Christmas, nice and restful. Now you may be wondering why I have chosen to continue making videos through Christmas this year, when last year I took the whole month of December off. And the truth is that in January I plan on some big travels, so there won't be any videos coming during that time. So I just thought I'd front load with a few before I get going. In any case, you can look forward to a video soon about repotting a vanilla plant using a moss pole, and hopefully repotting the Monstera adansonii with a moss pole that plant that you saw in the kitchen houseplant tour in last week's video. And who knows, maybe I'll even include my job with the philodendron here behind me. Finally, thank you very much for all of your great support over the last year. I hope that you have enjoyed my videos and have found some worth in them, which is of course the aim in the first place. And I do thank every one of you for your great support in watching, in commenting, in liking, in subscribing, and in joining the membership program. Also, anyone who has bought my book, Journal of an Irish Garden, I do thank you for that support too. So, I will see you soon. Bye.